Hey everybody, how you doing? Just sending out an email with some links for this thing. Let's see, I got anybody in here? No, it looks like just me. No, maybe there's somebody. Two people watching. How are you? If there's somebody out there, let me know in the chat if you would. Whether you can hear me. I'm trying out a different kind of microphone today. No headphones, and I've got a little speaker set up because if I'm going to be building a drone here, I'm going to be moving all over the place. So who I got out there, if anybody, and what I plan on doing today, I guess I probably should wait till somebody shows up. I know this is kind of impromptu. Um, and I don't know if the viewer counter is working because sometimes I see two and it goes back to one and then it goes up to two. But I'm not feeling confident that I may even be live or have some viewers out there. So I guess I should check on my cell phone and see if I actually have a live stream going and see if I actually have some audio. Let's see. All right, I'm live. No, that's yesterday's stream. All right, so let's try this again. And there it is. There it is. Yeah, I guess I got audio. Okay, good. So I'll sit here all by myself and build my drone if nobody's interested. Like I said, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been raining like hell here in Florida. And I have, I'll explain what I want to do. And if nobody sees it live, maybe we'll see it on the replay. I built this Tyro 99. It was the first drone that I ever built by myself, because I'm kind of new at this. And it's a nice build, but it's very, very, very tight in the frame and doesn't have room or really any decent way to mount a high def camera to it. It's got the VTX mounted up on top here. It flies okay, but I'm just not crazy about it. So I've been building these drones with the top mounted batteries, and I like this. And I saw this frame for about $25 on Amazon, and it came with the mount for the GoPro or RunCam 5 on top of it, and I decided that why don't I just take the guts out of this $99 quad here and rebuild it into a quad that has more room for things and a top mounted battery, which I like much better. So I figured that I would do that kind of on a live stream, like just sitting chatting in the workshop. But as it stands right now, I appear to be the only one here. So it feels a little funny sitting there talking to myself. So either the word didn't get out on this thing, or people aren't interested in watching somebody building a drone. So let's see what's going on here. And if somebody does come in, just say hello in the chat. In the meantime, I will play a little music. Okay, well, I'm going to go over to the build table and I'm going to get started working. If somebody shows up, might take me a second to notice you, but I'll keep an eye open. So I'm going to go over and get started on this. So we're going to change over to the build table there, and here we go. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is take apart the Tyro 99. So here we go. Remove the antenna, and I'm just going to put all the parts in this in an ashtray over here. So let's see, how does this look? Camera probably be better swung around like this a little bit. Okay, there we go. And now we'll take off the VTX that's stuck on the top here. Unplug the antenna. It's got a connector in it, and it's got some sticky tape on it, so I think we just pry that up. There we go. And try to pull the sticky tape off of it. Okay, so there's the VTX. And then we got the top plate here. I'm beginning to think there's something wrong with my live stream, because it's very unusual for nobody to be here. Either that or something's going on that's more important than this in this world, and I'm missing it because I'm sitting here working on a drone. Check my cell phone again and see if indeed there is a video out there. Well, it says live now. I guess. Well, for some reason, YouTube just decided not to publicize my live stream. Well, I'm going to build a drone either way. One way or another, I'm going to build this drone. So it may very well be that live building videos are not as popular as I thought they might be. And need a place to put all these pieces and parts here. I think I will go get a box. Got a wireless mic on, so it's following me around here. Careful I don't go somewhere or say something that I don't want. Whoa, somebody's here. Holy cow, who is that? Paul Murray. How you doing, Paul? I started a party here and nobody showed up. I thought maybe people would be interested in spending a little time in my workshop with me building a drone. So I think I sent you a link to this StreamYards if you'd like to come in, even just for a little while. You can join me, say hello. But otherwise, I just went to get this box here to put the pieces of this drone that I'm taking apart, because what I'm doing here is I'm rebuilding this first drone that I built, this Tyro 99, because I don't like the frame. It's just way too small. There's just not enough room in it. And I'm going to replace it with this frame. And yeah, I know Friday evening, I'm early though. It's only 4 o'clock. And, I just going to do my thing. I had nothing else to do. So I figured, well, I'm going to rebuild this drone. And if somebody cares to join, that'd be fine. If I sit here by myself, I would have sat here by myself anyway. But thanks for coming in. And I'm sure before I'm done, some more people will wander by. And like I say, if you like to jump in on the StreamYards, love to have you. If not, that's okay too. Kind of hard for me to narrate this stuff because all I'm doing right now is unscrewing things. Seems sometimes almost a little counterproductive to take apart something that actually worked and that I have been flying, but there are some things about this that I'm really not crazy about. And for like $25, I was able to get this frame on Amazon, which is the main reason and the main difference is that I like the battery on top, so the drone is flat when it lands instead of the battery on the bottom where the drone lands on the battery, because it does beat up the batteries, and you don't have to beat up the batteries. I'd rather not. So Paul, we need to get you into FPV. Can't you see yourself sitting here doing this kind of thing? It really is relaxing. It's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed the hobby, the aspect of building, and being in the workshop gives you time to think. And need a screwdriver that I don't have. Here, a Phillips screwdriver, so I'll have to run back out and get one. I should just bring the whole toolbox into the studio, but it's cluttered enough. Phillips, there we go. Okay. All right. That should. Let's see, there's 2 screws on the bottom and that whole side should come off. Okay, there we go. So that piece, and we'll get the other side. Okay, on this side, we have the camera connected, so we'll connect that and unplug it. And then we got the antenna pigtail, which I need to take out of here. Okay. And let's see here. So what I got now is, let me zoom in on this here. Down to the receiver here. So we're going to get rid of the receiver, and that plugs in right here, and it's sticky taped down. So I'm going to pull that up, because I don't think that's where it's going to end up on the new frame. And then we got the antennas in here that I should just be able to slide right out. There we go. That's tight. I don't want to rip the antenna, so I'm going to cut that. Okay. All right. So there we have the receiver and the antenna, and somebody else is here. See, 3 watching now, 4 watching. All right. Who is here? JL RC Multi-Rotors. How you doing? Welcome to this little live stream that I'm having, trying to rebuild a Tyro 99 because I just don't like the frame. So I'm taking all the guts out of this thing, and I'm going to put it in this new frame right here. So right now I'm in the taking apart phase of this, and I've got it kind of coming along there, trying to entertain everybody. So JL, looks like this is the first time you've been here, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a blue wrench, because that's the way we roll. Just like to have everybody feel like there's somebody here. All right, so this is the flight controller, and got to remove that so I can get to the ESC board underneath. Take these 4 nuts, and I don't know if this camera has a better view than the camera from above, but anybody that wants to give me some input on that, I'll be happy to give you whatever view that you want. It's a F4 flight controller board, and this drone flew pretty good, but I just don't like the bottom mounted battery. I just like top mounted battery drones now that I'm getting into this and learning something. I'd rather have the batteries on top. Joe Clay, hello, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Don't have a whole lot of people here right now, but I'm having a good time. Now, I have to make a decision now because these things are all soldered up, and I really don't need to desolder them in order to move them over to another quad. But if I don't desolder them, I can't put the shrink wrap on the legs like I usually like to do, which is probably okay. It's either that or desolder all of these connections here, and I'll show you what it's looking like here. There's the board. I give you a pretty good look at it, and I've got these 12 solder joints. I could cut all of this away here and just move motors, controller, and all right over into this quad here. I think I'm going to do that first. Do that at first, and then if I decide that the wires don't look right or I don't like the way it's sitting, I will probably change my mind. And I apologize to anybody that comes in here in the chat if I'm not paying attention to the chat. I was hoping to have some of my buddies come in here on Streamlabs with me, and they may show up. I sent some links out and kind of moderate this thing for me while I'm working. It's kind of hard to keep up with the chat while I'm busy working. So what I'm going to do anyway, I'm going to zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to get rid of, first I'm going to get rid of these things that were, these clips here that were holding the receiver antennas in the right place. So we don't need those. I'll put new ones on that. Next thing, I need to cut this this old heat shrink here. Get rid of it. Cut it from the bottom so that I don't cut any of the motor wires. So we'll cut this. I don't know if I'll ever use this frame again, but I don't want to destroy it, so try not to. And then we have to cut this tie wrap that was holding the battery leads. And now, what's it stuck to? Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's that. Then I think the next thing is to take the motors off. And the position of the motors on the new frame will be dictated by the corner that they come off of, the ESC. And I've got these things props out, which means they spin towards the center of the quad. So that'll all that stuff, including all the Betaflight settings, should migrate over to the new frame. It should be very simple to set up. I shouldn't even have to see if the motors are turning in the right direction if I'm not unsoldering them. So it'll be interesting to see. I did use Loctite on these. These are, one thing about these $99 kits is you don't get the most robust hardware with them. Some of these screws are pretty, the heads are a little softer than I'd like, and if you put them in and take them out too often, you can really warm them out. Okay. There we go. Tell you what, it takes a lot less time to take them apart than it does to build them. I was afraid I was going to have something that was just a little too tight. So there we go. Use this to break that Loctite. There we go. Who we got there? Brick Boy 43. How you doing? Uncle Mitch. I got nephews I didn't even know about. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if this is going to be a real popular little deal here, but I thought since I wanted to rebuild this Tyro 99 into a nice new frame with a battery on top and more room to put gizmos like buzzers or maybe GPS modules, I thought it'd be worth spending $25 on a new frame, and so I did. And boy, this is not encouraging. It's like I got a cross-threaded screw here, or else just an awful lot of Loctite on it. Ah, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so now what I got here is a quad with the motors loose, the flight controller removed, and down to the ESC, and that's being held in by these rubber standoffs, which I'll put up here. And that comes out. There it is. Frameless quad. That's the latest in quad technology right there. And there's the frame, which I'm going to throw in this box down here and save all these pieces and parts that I'm not going to use on the new build. But I am going to use these certainly things here. So now, let's get to the new frame. Got a run cam in here, get rid of that. Take the top plate off. Okay. Camera mount, we won't be needing that for a while. Okay. It's Henry. No kidding. Henry as in my nephew in Pittsburgh? Really? Boy, what a surprise. Let me know. Okay. Well, that would be a surprise if that's my nephew from Pittsburgh. Well, if you're still here, let me know. Say something in the chat. There you go. Got four. Says I got 4 people in here. I don't know who they are, but yes, I found your channel. I figured to watch also your. No kidding. How you doing, kid? Is Ronnie around? Is she there with you? If you got a computer, why don't you can come in on this live stream and be a guest and talk to me if you'd like. So let me know if you want to. Anyway, I'm gonna sit here and work some more. Next thing I got to do is make sure that I get this thing in here correctly and get the front towards the front. So this is the back of the quad over here, and the capacitor goes towards the back. So this thing is going to set down right in here like this. Okay, and release reach. I guess it will. All right, so that appears to be where that goes. Put these rubber standoffs back on again. Crumb Shots, how you doing? How's everything? Rebuild my Tyro 99 here into a new frame with a top-mounted battery because I like top-mounted batteries better. So the Tyro 99 is gone now, but all the guts are here. There's what the bottom part of the old frame, and I don't know if you know anything about the Tyro 99 deal. Was very little room in the frame. I really wasn't happy with it. It had the VTX plastered up on top. There was no room for no room for any of that. Let me take a second here and come in here and say hi to you guys. And I wanted to ask you how you can hear me today. I'm not using, trying something different. I'm not using headphones. I've actually got a small little speaker, a little Bluetooth speaker here that doesn't make a lot of noise, and I'm wearing a wireless lavalier mic. Where is it? There, this side. There it is. So that when I move around over to the build table and back, I don't have to be dragging that microphone with me. And it's a lot more comfortable doing this without having to deal with the headphones. Those things get, especially after a couple hours when you do these live streams, it starts to get annoying. RC funds diversions. Old man, you're giving me hope. Thanks. Thank you. Which frame is that? Baduga, how you doing, buddy? Which frame is that? You know, it's a frame that I bought on Amazon, and I'm going to have to look up the thing because I forgot what name. It's a knockoff frame. It wasn't that expensive, but the reason that I liked it is it comes with the TPU GoPro mount, and it comes with all the antenna mounts for the back, and it's nice design, a lot of room in it. So I thought that would be a much more versatile quad. So I think it was 25, $30 for the whole works, including the TPU mount for the GoPro, which is something that I couldn't put on that Tyro 99. That frame is you know, Baduga Alien or Reverb Clone, you're asking me just for the parts to try this nice frame 3D printed. Yeah, you know what? I just bought the Tyro 129. I bought two of them because they were only $129. I just got one delivered yesterday and looked at it, and it's a 7-inch quad with 2507 motors, and comes with it comes with GPS module, comes with the GoPro mount, a really nice looking one. And I'm going to build that on a live stream here over the weekend, I think. But I did want to get this Tyro 99 thing switched over. But let me do this. Let me go over here to Amazon for you, and go pull it up. I can put, you know, I do have an affiliate account. I don't push trying to make any money on this, a few pennies here and there. But I think what I will do is, if anybody's interested, I'll put some links in the after this video is over. I'll put some links to some of the parts that I use. But let's see here. Buy it again. It was $32.99. I'm sorry, I misled you just a tad, but let me show you what it is. It is. Hang on a second. I'll get you there. It is FPV drone, 225 millimeter, 5-inch quadcopter frame, printed camera mount for GoPro. It also comes with the motor protectors and shock mounts, 3D printed, the antenna holder in the back, a TPU printed antenna holder for the VTX pigtail, the padding, and it's pretty good quality. It's for $33. So I thought it looked pretty good. It was one of those deals where I think it said like Amazon's Choice or something like that on it. So evidently it's pretty popular, and the quality of the stuff is great. I did have to take and knock the edges off, the sharp edges off the edge of the carbon. You know how sometimes they don't chamfer the edges, but that took a little file, took a couple seconds. But that's the drone, and I'll go ahead and put a link. I'll put a link to that. When you say the arms are separate, drone shot, this does have removable arms. It actually looks, it's shaped kind of like a marmot, but it does have the removable arms, and they sell the arms for $10, $12 to get 4 replacement arms for it. So, but we're not going to break any of these things, are we? Do we? Do we break? Oh, you've been printing in carbon fiber. I haven't tried that yet. Of course, I'm new to everything. I'm new to this FPV stuff. So anyway, let me get back. Let me get back to work here. So we'll switch back over to the drone, and let me switch this back over to there. And if I ignore you guys in the chat, just go ahead and I'll tell you what I could do. I'd be happy to do if one of you guys wants to come into this thing. Let me just I'll just stick the link in the chat there. Anybody wants to come in can come in and talk to me. That might make it a more entertaining stream. So let me say here, invite. Here we go. And there it is. Just click on that, and if you want to come in, we'll bring you in, and you can be a star too, like me. So the idea here was that I want to resolder these things, or just leave them like this and just tie wrap the wires down. I really like to put, and these wires on these Tyro motors are plastic, not silicone. They're not the best wires, but is that gonna? Yeah, there's plenty of room for them there. And then of course it's got these little red plastic things that you can put down between the motor, and it acts as a bumper. Yeah, I think I might just not unsolder them and just do it this way. So, at any rate, let me see. What did I do? These the motor screws. Are these going to be long enough with that plastic thing on there? Yes, they are. Matter of fact. I don't know if this is like watching paint dry or not, guys, but see the bottom of the frame there? You can see that the arms are actually separate, and they bolt in between the sandwich plate and the bottom plate. And the carbon is very stiff. I was really impressed with the quality of the carbon fiber, although it wasn't the edges on it. These edges here were not cut the absolute like they wavered just a tiny little bit. It not that it was sloppy, but it wasn't the cleanest looking pattern lines that I'd ever seen. But I thought that since it came with the GoPro mount and all these other bumpers and TPU pieces, that for $32 it wasn't that bad a price. Now I'm thinking that maybe because it's got this TPU between the motor and the carbon, that if I don't put Loctite on this, that I may have a problem. I may have screws loosening up on me. So I think that that's going to be the plan. Oh God, these are horrible looking wires. These plastic wires that they give you with this thing are just terrible. So let me get a tie wrap around this. Hold it down at that end. So this is what it's going to look. The end's going to look like, and I kind of like that. It's got that nice little bumper on the end there. They also give you these. They give you these rubber feet to put underneath here, and give you some battery straps, a red foam dealie for the top plate. Nice big top plate. Got plenty of room in here for everything. If I want to mount a Tarsier or one of those Cadex turtles, there's room in here for the board for that. Plenty of room for a triple stack, but I think I'm going to put the VTX in the back here. Let me check on the chat here. And paint dry is worse. It's nice. You think it's a nice Banggood? You think it's a nice frame for the price? you know, paid $100 for that marmot frame, and I mean, it's a gorgeous frame, a high quality with beautiful, beautiful titanium parts and lifetime guarantee. But you know, I mean, that's retails for $110. That's 4 of these things, 3.5 of them anyway, and we do after all take these things out and just beat them up. So I don't know. We'll give it a try. It's certainly better than that Tyro 99 thing. That frame was while it worked, it did work. It was too small, way too small. Okay, what I need to do now is get myself something to put. I think I'll run out here and get me a paper towel and take you guys with me. Since I have a wireless mic on, I could wander all over the place here and you can still hear me. And it is raining outside, so this is probably as good a thing to be doing on a rainy afternoon as I can think of. Okay. So I thought for you guys that are here, I thought I would unclamp that camera on the side and just show you, just give you a little shot of what I'm dealing with here. So let me, yeah, I can show you the whole work. So this is my setup here. That let me tilt this up a little bit. This is my setup that I'm live streaming with. I've got this camera up here, this Sony camera up here on this boom. That's the one that shoots straight down at the table. And there's my soldering station and just this tools scattered all over the place. Boxes of these parts here. You know, if you build drones, you got to have standoffs and screws and plastic pieces and all that other stuff. And then this is sitting right next to my studio right here, where I actually am trying to sit here on a chair and swing back and forth between the two. And with the wireless mic, it works great because I can just, I don't have to be tied down, and I'm not using headphones. I have nobody to listen to, and I have a tiny little speaker hooked up, and I was hoping that I could use that without a headphone for any guests that I might have and hear them without having to wear the headphones. And then this Elgato box over here, I just have to reach over here and push the buttons, and I can change like to the top build or back to this camera just by pushing those buttons. Unfortunately, if I want to chat or anything, I got to swivel over and go over to the computer, but it works pretty good. So let me get this camera hooked up here like this. And I hope that makes it somewhat entertaining. I think that how entertaining these build videos can be, especially to somebody who's really seasoned and has been at this for quite a while. For me, whenever I watch somebody build something, I do learn something. And what I just learned was I have a plastic piece right here, that insulator that should probably go underneath the ESC board, because there are screws coming up, and I wanted to put this on. I guess that's what it's for, to act as an insulator. And if that's not what it's for, it is now. Okay. So we'll screw this in here. I don't know if this view is better or not, but I'll switch back and forth. Yeah, I'm over here on the east coast of Florida near Space Center, and they had that weather coming up from the Bahamas here, the end of the week, and it has just been raining like crazy. Just nuts. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to put one screw in each one of these motors to kind of hold it from flopping around. And then I'll go back and redo them with Loctite. Like I say, I think that with these TPU things underneath the motors, while they're like shock mounting, I do believe that they're going to allow these screws to loosen up if they're not Loctited in. So we'll just put one in there loosely to hold roughly in place. Then I'll go back and use the old Loctite. And this is Loctite Blue, which is temporary Loctite. So you can take it off down the road if you have to. I don't know if any of you guys have ever used that red stuff, but once you put that on, it's staying on. Need 3 more hands here. And one more. Anybody new coming in here? Nope. Same old guys. It's dinner time, Beduga. Well, enjoy. Sorry, I'm not really keeping up with the chat, but glad to see that somebody's watching this anyway. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going to put one screw in each motor just to keep them from flopping around while I go ahead and put in the Loctite on all the other ones. And I noticed I watch a lot of guys building these things on. Now this is not this antenna thing is not a good idea right there because it's going to hit these motors. So we're not going to use those antenna tubes anyway. Let's get rid of them. Yeah, that's not. What I've got on this quad is an XM Plus receiver, so I would going to run the antennas down to the come off of tie wraps on the legs anyway. So that black piece there is going to go. Won't need that. This piece here, we won't need this. Get rid of this. And then this piece will hold the VTX antenna. We'll put that on later. So the task at hand right now is to take and let's just put a blob of this stuff right there. And we will start putting in I think the side view might be better here for this. You raise it up a little bit. There, I think that might be a little better view of it. So we got that. And the first one that I put in, tight on that. Where it really squishes that TPU. That looks okay. It looks all right. So let me get another tie wrap. On this. Okay, so that one is Loctited. Let's go to this first one that I did and put Loctite on these. Who we got here? Sidewinder FPV. How you doing? Coast to Coast Drones. Rich, do I need an address to send that to? Bill, you have no shame, man. No shame whatsoever. Oh, God. How you doing? Why don't one of you guys come in here and keep me company, will you? I put the link in the chat. There's a streamlabs.com link. Just click on it. Come in here and talk to me a little while. Just love the build. Oh, great. Yeah, I enjoy doing these live builds like this. I kind of like to have somebody actually in the live stream. That's why I have it set up on StreamYard, so that if somebody can keep an eye on the chat while I'm busy keeping an eye on what I'm supposed to be doing here. But what I'm doing, for those of you that have just arrived, which, the throng of people, that my many adoring fans, all few of you that have showed up here, I had this Tyro 99 that, and here's a picture of what it looked like when I started. It was the Tyro 99 and that frame off to the side of it that I'm kind of switching it to. I didn't like that Tyro 99 frame because it didn't have any room in it, whereas this thing has got all kinds of room in here to put buzzers and GPSs and DVRs if I want. And the frame was $33, and it came with all of this TPU stuff, which camera mount, the GoPro mount, all TPU printed, and it just with the bumpers and for the money, it just, then I only had $100 invested in that other drone. I thought maybe I could build a real drone out of it. And the biggest thing for me is the top mounted battery. I just like a drone that lands flat on its feet like this without wobbling around or beating up the battery. If you don't make this a really slick landing, you're going to beat up your battery, and that's those things are expensive, and it's no fun to do that. So I thought that I would just convert this to a top mounted battery. Now I also just got a Tyro 129, which is a new 7-inch Tyro kit. I just got it yesterday, and I'm going to build that online over the weekend. And that's for $129. It's designed to be a long range. It's a 7-inch. They call it a long range. It's got comes with a GPS module, GoPro mount. It's just a whole big box full of stuff for $129. And I mean, even if you just buy it to use for parts, for God's sakes, it seems to me that you get an awful lot of stuff. So look out, I think Saturday or Sunday over the weekend. Look out for that, for me, for that build, because that might be interesting. I'm going to open the box up, lay out all the parts, and build it. And it's a bigger quad than what I have been building. But I thought that it'd be fun to have a 7-inch. It still uses the same batteries that the 5 inches do. It's not designed to be a racing quad. It comes with the same GPS module that I've been putting on my other quads. And it has a nice F4 flight controller and ESC and an eSheen, I think an 800-watt VTX, smart audio capable. I don't know how the hell that they put all that stuff together for $129. And then, of course, there's a bunch of 10% discounts. So I picked up 2 of them and paid, I don't know, $117 for this big box full of drone parts. Even comes with a TPU GoPro mount too. All right, let's see. What did I forget here? I think I got one left to do. I think I got these other ones all Loctited in. So I need 3 more screws here. I swear, there they are. I know that I took out more screws than I thought. I put all these motor screws in one place, but evidently I hadn't. Making sure the motor screws aren't too long so that they find their way up into the, you don't want them to find their way up into the coils of the motor. Now, it seems like I'm missing one screw that's the right size for the motor. Where did it get to? Oh, I know why. Because the Tyro 99 only had three, see it? Only had three screws for each motor, which is why I'm a few screws short. So that is why I told you you get these boxes of screws from Amazon, and you have all different kinds of screws in these things, and you can generally find one that will fit. Now these are all hex head, not button head, and I want a button head, and I don't see a button head in there long enough, so it would be funny if I was just short one screw. Now these here, this is a big assortment of screws here, but these are hex head too, and I want a button head screw, so I will look a little harder for. Well, here I have, that screw looks too long. Well, that would be I know I got one somewhere. I know I have one somewhere. I, of course, could put a hex head screw in there, but it's going to look different than all the other screws. So right now, I think I got all these. Let me get these three at least screwed down tighter. I may be able to use one of these in this one place. I may be able to use one of these that's just a little shorter. Let's see if it has enough purchase to catch. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. I think it was maybe 1 millimeter shorter than all these other screws. Okay, so get these tight. It's nice. It's got these bumpers for whatever good they are on the end there. I think that I don't know whether it adds to the looks of them or not, but it does protect the motor. The motors all spin nicely. Now I'm going to run around and just check every screw one more time. 2. Okay. And let's go and put 2 more tie wraps on the other 2 just to keep everything somewhat in place. Because these wires do wrap around the they wrap around the standoff and solder from the inside, so they're really not sticking out. And like I said, the good news is, since I didn't unsolder anything and the motors are still hooked up and the flight controller and everything, it hasn't changed, and none of the beta flight settings will more than likely change here, except maybe calibrating the accelerometer. This thing should almost be ready to, once I get everything plugged in and bolted together, it should fly, be ready to fly. But I'll check everything out, of course. Let's see what my phone is asking me. Oh, okay. And one more. That will go. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here or not, but there we go. All right, so we got the ESC board mounted, is in there. All the motors are mounted to this frame, and so far it feels and looks pretty good. And of course, this is going to go up to the battery, so we'll tie that off down here towards the end. And the next thing that goes on this, well, let me take a couple minute break here and come back over here and say hi to everybody, whoever's here. There's only 4 of us here now. Our aerial views and histories. How you doing? Drone shots, you're still here. What quad am I building? RD, well, I'll tell you, I'm rebuilding this this Tyro 99. This quad here that's in the picture in the thumbnail for the for this video. I'm rebuilding it because I didn't like the frame. There was almost no room for anything, no place to put a camera. So I bought this frame from Amazon. This frame right here for $32, $33. And I'm gonna after I'm done, I will go ahead and put a link in the description to this frame. It's a pretty good frame for $32. Comes with the camera mount, all kinds of neat stuff. Bumpers for the motors, and I thought it was this one's got to save an extra 5% when you click the coupon deal, so and save you another couple bucks. But this I like top mounted batteries. I really I'm only going to have drones with top mounted batteries from here on out, and I've got the Emax Hawk 5, and that's got a bottom mounted battery, but I'm not going to go ahead and reframe that one. But this $99 Tyro thing, which is not real expensive anyway, I thought it'd be worth to spend 30 extra bucks on and put it in a frame more designed to be a freestyle type quad with the GoPro mount and all that on it. So that's what I'm up to. And I thought that as long as I was going to do it on this rainy afternoon, I'd throw up a live stream and see if anybody wanted to come keep me company. Now, so far, nobody has actually come into the panel, but that's okay. There's a link up in the chat a little ways back for the panel. If somebody wants to click in on that, that'd be great. And if not, that's okay too. Let's go back to me. No headphones today. Like I said, trying something new. Got a wireless mic, and I can just talk at a normal voice and don't have to be playing with that microphone when I scooch over to the build table and back and forth and walk around. People can still hear me. I have a little Bluetooth speaker here that instead of playing the audio through the headphones, I tested it, and just like with a webcam, because I'm wearing a mic that's very directional on me, that even if some of the audio were to come out of this Bluetooth speaker, this mic probably wouldn't pick up enough of it to give any kind of echoes or anything. So it's a hell of a lot more comfortable than having those headphones clamped on your head for hours. Okay, break's over. Time to get a little swig of water and then go back to the next step. All righty. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here. Very nice of you. All right, so where were we? It's amazing how as you progress with this, the table just gets messier and messier and messier. You start out so neat. All right, so now Let me make sure, see what we got here. Adjust the camera. Okay. I guess the next step is to decide what camera I want to use. And you know what? I think I got this big clunky cheap camera that came with the Tyro. But since this thing doesn't have, it just has the connector already for it. I was thinking about putting this run cam Swift Micro 3 in this drone, but it has a 2.3 millimeter lens, and I had it in a drone, and I ended up replacing it with the Cadex Retel with a 1.6 millimeter lens. Gave me is much more wide angle, because the field of view on this little run cam. When I bought this, I had originally bought this because when I saw the reviews of the Tyro 99, which was my first drone that I built, it said that the camera was garbage, and so I ordered this camera and found out that it was too the field of view was way too narrow. When you're flying, I'm finding that flying these things, I want to see more of what's on either side of me and what's above and below. And those of you guys that fly these things know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's something that I actually, you know, as we all do, discovered on my own. You know, you watch the videos and you hear these guys talking about, well, this has got a 2.1 millimeter and this got a 1.6 millimeter and this got a 30 degrees field of view and 40. And it doesn't mean anything until you actually start looking at it. And then you say, oh, so that's what they mean by I can't see anything. I have tunnel vision with this thing. So I think I'm going to mount this big black camera in here. And it's got, yeah, that's perfect. Why not? It's got these nice TPU mounts that came with it for the camera. So we'll do this. That's a nice thing about these things, is which is another reason why I'm not really all that enthusiastic about that new DJI system. Is, and we talked about this on my live stream last night, is that I like the freedom. I like the not being locked into a particular infrastructure of where you got to use this camera and you got to use that part and you got to use this other piece, and it won't work with anything but like Apple. It's like an Apple computer. It won't work with anything except other Apple stuff. Could it be that this screw is not long enough to get in there? Or is it not the right size screw? No, it's the right size screw. But it's possible that I need a longer one. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I really enjoy the hobby, the craft and the hobby aspect of this. To me, this is the fun. I mean, I love flying. I like flying, but to me, this is just as satisfying to the workshop time. And I always like that, even in my throughout my RC days. I like building. I like tinkering, and great escape. Get out to the garage and get away from it all. Get your mind off of things and focus on what's in front of you. And by doing that, you only think about that, and you don't, and you stop thinking about all the crap that's on your mind and bugging you when you focus on just one thing. And that's why it's relaxing. I guess it's why people like to tie fishing flies, because it just focusing down on that one little task. And I'd sure like this screw to bite into something here. It's Speaking of one little task, why is it not? May need a little longer screw, because you definitely need a washer with this TPU. I don't know if I'm really all that sold on whether using a TPU mount for the camera is really all that great. I think that I don't know if it's going to introduce any jello or anything, but let me see why these screws are not. There's not a lot of room there. Not in this little mount. There's very little depth on these screws, so they're going to bottom out if they're not exactly right. And it is definitely a cheap camera, no doubt about it. So let me get some number. These are number two M2s. Let's see if I got an M2 that's a little bit longer. I got a 4mm. Got 6mm, which I think is what I was using before. And I got 8mm, which may be too long, but I'm going to give that a shot. And I may have to use a couple of washers with it. This is another thing for like 15 bucks. This is a huge assortment of M2, 3, and 4 hex head screws, nuts, washers, and everything. It's got like 1,000 pieces in it or something. And you're doing this hobby, you almost have to have these things, because if you just keep trying to scrounge around for a particular screw that they forgot to put in the kit, it's going to get old. So let's see here. This I know is going to be way too long. Yeah, that's going to be way too long. So let me go to the shorter one. Okay. Let's see, what was this? This one was a man, I'll tell you, these Chinese, they do like their little plastic bags, don't they? They do like their little plastic bags. Hey, we're going to make this one work, or we're going to go back to that other camera, because it may be that this camera is just not going to work. Why did the hinges come out of this thing? Okay. So washer. All right, that side's in. There we go. Now we got it. All right. So that you can see is the camera mounted in there. And on the top plate, there's a nice little cutout part here that fits, so the camera can actually even tilt up higher than the top plate if it has to. And that's in there pretty good. All right, so the camera's mounted. And now, next step will be the flight controller. So there's the arrow that points to the front. This is the connector here. Let me zoom down in here for you so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. There's the flight controller. This plug right here is the connector between the two boards. So this is kind of folded back like this, and then the flight controller board. This arrow right here on the flight controller board points to the front. Since the capacitor's in the back, the camera's in the front, it goes that way. And the good news is that's verified by the fact that this connector that goes in there happens to be in the right place from where I took it off. So there you have the connectors between the ESC, the 4-in-1 ESC board, and the flight controller. Then the flight controller goes down on here, and then we use these plastic nuts to hold it down. And that's on top of that rubber shock mount. So we will put these on here. Easier said than done. There we go. It's almost looking like it actually belongs in here. That's a nice thing about these drones. I mean, this is just a standard flight controller. It'd probably be at home in just about anything. It's probably not the most advanced, but it is an F4. And it's a little short on UARTs compared to some of the stuff that they're using. But the board that's in that new Tyro 129 does have 6 or 7 UARTs, and it's running the new Betaflight, the 4-point-something version. Okay, so now that's all right. That's in there. We got the motor wires in there. We got the camera, and this is the wire here. Let me back off from this. This is the wire here that plugs into the camera. So we will do that. Plug that into the camera there. Did I do that right? I guess it's in there. Okay. So that plugs into the camera. And this wire here goes to the VTX, I believe. This wire here goes to the VTX, but I'll put that on after. That's the little video transmitter, but I'll mount that back here somewhere after I mount the antenna for it. And then the receiver is here, the tiny little thing. That's an XM Plus, and that receiver plugs into this little this little plug right here. Do I have it upside down, perhaps? Let me look at the light there. No, that's correct. There it goes. Okay, so that's the receiver. And that's got to be mounted somewhere here. The VTX gets mounted down here. Now we need to deal with the pigtail for the video antenna. And I think we're going to do this. But I think I need a washer. And I know that somewhere in here I had a white plastic, yeah, there it is. A white washer left over from my Armaton build that, there it is. No, it isn't. Thought it was in there. Okay. All right, wait a minute. No, that's not it. All right, I am going to need, I think, although maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. This goes, doesn't really have to be real tight. It just needs to probably be all right. Probably be okay. This piece will slide down on these posts here like this. I think you see what I'm doing. Putting this this piece for the antenna down here, and then it comes back and plugs into to the VTX here. The video transmitter plugs right into the side of that. Snap. And then I need to mount this somewhere where there's not a lot of stress on this cable. And I'll tell you what, I think at this point I'm going to take these wires here. It's hard to keep my hand out of the way. I'm going to take these wires and these wires right here, and I'm going to tie them back out of the way right here so that I can mount the VTX down there behind the capacitor. So let me take and get another tie wrap here. I know the tension is killing. I know the tension of this is, I should have some of that high tension music like they have on TV to go along with this. It's all right, so this we will put right here. And tighten that up. Okay, and now I think the VTX, trying to keep this where you can see it. I think the VTX is gonna, I'm just gonna stick it right down here to the bottom with double sticky tape, and then I can actually turn this, can raise this up to the top and turn this, I don't know if you see what I'm doing, but I'm turning this sideways so that the cable that goes doesn't have a lot of stress on it and doesn't want to, and then I'll tie it down so it doesn't want to pop out of the so it doesn't want to pop out. But I think that I'll be better off if it went down that way. Okay. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, but we'll put that right up at the top like that. And I will, because there is a readout on this VTX and a button to push to change things, and you want to be able to get to that, and that's right there. So so what is it hitting again? What is it hitting on? Oh, it's this. Okay. All right. So what I need to do right now is I need to go and get some of that double sticky tape. And because the VTX gets so hot, so you can see right now that that where I'm going to mount this thing is right back here. I bent the capacitor up out of the way a little bit. I've tied the power leads down so they're not in the way. And the VTX then hooks to the pigtail right up to here. And the antenna will just go right on here like this. And it's in a great place. It's sticking up out of the way, and yet it's mounted to some TPU so that if it does hit hard, it'll just bend and probably won't break anything. Of course, the object is not to hit hard. So let me go get that double sticky tape, and we'll stick that on there, and hopefully we won't need to tie wrap it down. I think it'll probably hold okay. One thing that I learned about these devices that just get so hot is that you got to be careful that you don't use something on them like hot glue or something like that, because that'll stuff, they get so hot that'll just melt that. And the same thing I think for the adhesive on some of this double sticky tape. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to throw a tie wrap around this whole mess anyway. This is that high strength double stick'em. I think this particular roll here is probably 10, 15 years old because it's left over from my old RC airplane days, but it's very, very sticky. So let's take and cut a piece of this. I think I need scissors for this. That stuff scattered everywhere. Okay. All right. So now we've got this piece of double sticky tape here, right here, and I'm going to stick it on the bottom of this. And then Stick it down right there. Okay, so that shouldn't go anywhere, but it probably wouldn't hurt to put a tie wrap around it, although I don't want to cover up. I don't want to cover up anything. This is the connector. God, I hope I didn't put it on the wrong way where there's no room for it to get this connector in there. Uh-oh. I think I may have screwed up. I have to run across the top. Should have put it on the other way with the connector on this side. But that's okay. We'll just run it across the top of the board like this, down under the receiver thing, and see if we can't just plug it in right here. And if I can't, then I'm going to have to turn the board around because it's too short. And you know what it is? Ah, foo. Okay, I have to rethink this whole thing. So let's pop this off. And let's turn it around so that it sits this way with the connector on the other side. And that means that I also want to swing this around like this. Okay, that'll work. And now we will plug the VTX cable into the VTX. And that's fine. It works out okay. So now let's see if I can give you a halfway decent view of what I did here. If you can look at here, let me try to hold it up in front of that camera. There we go. I mounted the antenna pigtail up in this TPU mount here. I stuck the VTX unit down right here, and the pigtail runs right over and snaps in. And the one thing you got to be careful of is that there's nothing that's going to want to unsnap that thing during flight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and tie wrap this down to the base so that it or tie wrap it to this post so it takes any stress off of that little connector there. So let's try that. It's in there pretty good, but you definitely don't want it to come off of there. So we'll tie wrap that down to the to one of the standoffs here, pretty tight. So that is not going anywhere now. Okay, so that's tight. That's on there. We need to figure out a place to mount the receiver and how to run the antennas. But for the time being, I think I'm going to just put an antenna on this, because one of the things that I've learned is that you definitely don't ever want to power these things up without a VTX antenna. You'll burn your VTX up. So by putting the antenna on, you can't forget to do that. All right, everything is there now. So by all that's right and holy, I should be able to power this thing up and everything should beep and work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a little monitor so I can see what the video transmitter is sending out. And I'm going to get my radio. So let's see, we need the monitor. And I want to get my radio. Okay. So I'm back. How we doing? We got 4 people here. Who do we got? Drone Shot's still here. Love my drones. How you doing? Go underneath. Never mind. Hey, come on in here, man. There's get on to somebody. Come in here with me. Let me put the link. I'll put the link back in there again, just to keep me company. Let's see. Yeah, everything, Drone Shots, everything should just be, I mean, I should probably be able to throw props on it and just go fly, but you want to make sure I didn't pinch anything or anything like that. But let me go ahead and copy the link to the chat here. Yeah, come on in, guys, if you, somebody. I've been sitting here for almost 2 hours by myself. So we got aerial, we got drone shots. Oh, Lloyd. Hey, Lloyd, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? I saw you. I don't even want to talk about the latest drama in the drone community. I think there's been enough talk about that, more than likely. So we'll just let that go. So let's see. We got, what have I got? Okay. I got my radio. I'm going to turn it on. And, welcome to OpenTX. Oh, thank you, sweetie. And let's change to the Tyro 99. I guess it's still a Tyro 99. I'm not going to change the name of it. And so the radio is on. And let's take this little monitor thingy and open it up and set it right here. And get rid of this light. And we'll turn it on. Let's go to the top view here. And we'll turn this on. I have no idea what channel this thing is going to come up, but I'll get it all up. And then got my smoke stopper. For those of you who know what a smoke stopper is, in case there's a short, there's a smoke stopper. Got that there. And everything's plugged in, all the motors, the camera. All right, moment of truth, guys. It's beeping. And let me do a channel search. And what channel am I supposed to be on? I'm supposed to be on A2. Okay. Let's see here. I'm screwing up here. A2. Not on A2. Well, what channel am I on? It says A2. No, it doesn't say A2. It says A6. There it is. Okay, so there you go. There's the drone working, and let's arm it. There it is. It's running, and the motors are all running in the right direction. Oh, I swamped the receiver. What's going on here? What did I do wrong? It's beeping. Oh, it fail-safed. You can't get too close to these receivers with this transmitter. Okay, it's running. I can make them beep with my beeper. And what's really cool, I don't know if you notice this or not, but when I have the smoke stopper hooked up and I advance the throttle, you see the light bulb get brighter? That's because it's starting to draw current, and this will actually limit the amount of current it can draw, and probably if you had props on it, keep you from cutting the hell out of yourself. That's something Joshua Bardwell pointed out in one of his talking about the smoke stopper. He said even when you're working on the prop, it's not a bad idea to hook it in. So it appears to work. It appears to work. We have video signal and all that other stuff. So it appears that I need to just mount a few more things and put the top plate on, and I've got to route the antenna wires, and I've got a successful transplant here. So cool. So at any rate, that's the quad, and I think that let's just mount the receiver somewhere. You know, I just had it stuck down before. I think I'll just stick it down like I did before with some double-sided tape, and then run the antennas down here and back on each side off the legs. So I need to just get another piece of this sticky tape, and just cut it with this. And let's see which side of this has the little blinky lights on it. This is the side with the bind button. So we'll stick this here. And that's good. It's not going to go anywhere. I think I might want to strap that VTX down too, but we'll decide after I get the top plate on. Okay, so there's the receiver. And the next thing is the top plate. And I think that okay. So how we doing, guys? Who's here? Oh, EBR, how you doing? How you doing? So we need to get Mitch to watch the chat. He could enlighten us. Hey, EBR, I've been sitting here all by myself just begging for somebody to come in here and make a panel. I mean, I am on StreamYard. And watch the chat and keep me up to date and help me out. And you think anybody would do that? No. I'm here all by myself, but I'm having a good time, and I'm just about finished building this drone. The Tyro 99 improved build with the new frame, and I think it's going to be pretty neat. So let me finish putting this frame together here, and I'll of course go around after I'm all done with everything and tighten everything up. But let me put this on. And I started out with a $99 quad and put a $32 frame. Took all the guts out of the $99 quad and got rid of that silly frame with no room for anything, and got this frame with the GoPro TPU GoPro mount on it, and that just screws on here. And on the front, there we go. I get this light back on here. And I never really tightened up the bottom of these standoffs yet. We'll do that. It's kind of a nice little frame, I think. It pretty good quality, stiff as hell. And I think that I don't think it's certainly no heavier than the Tyro 99. But there it is, guys. There is. All I've got to do is maybe another tie wrap on the motor wires, and I've got a nice little red battery pad here. Of course, you know, it's very important that it be color coordinated. Of course, it's a different shade of red than the red TPU, but what are you going to do? And this, of course, has got to go underneath. I got to loosen these up again because evidently it fits under there. So I should have done that before. I'll take this, loosen these up. And get one shot at this guy. And I will start down at this end. Looks good. I've got this stuff that I bought that's silicone stuff that's just sticky as hell. That might be better than this, but I'll try this anyway first. I'll try it and see. It holds pretty good. It holds pretty good. There's plenty of room under there for a battery strap. That's nice. So I just need a couple more tie wraps for the antennas and everything. And I think maybe tie wrap this up out of the way here. Which way do we want to put this in? No, I think that just want to make sure all these wires stay out of the props. Come over the top like this, I think we'll be okay. I'll worry about that after I get the props on. All right, I think it's a drone. Oh, wait. I have rubber feet for it. Stick them on. We got 7 people now, boy. Now we starting to get a crowd now. Everybody's getting home. Hasn't been a very, I wouldn't say that this is the most popular thing on YouTube going on right now, that's for sure. But I can't help that. This is what I do. So let's see. We got rubber feet. Wonder how long these things will last. Probably not too long, but what the hell. We'll stick them out here. Cool. One. I know you can't see what I'm doing because I'm doing it in my lap, but this will just take a second, then I'll show you. Yeah, all this stuff came with this kit for $32, the frame kit. And I'll tell you, I'd do this frame again. I was impressed with the with what it came with and the quality of the pieces, and the different TPU pieces that it had were good quality. The carbon was stiff as hell. I did have to chamfer the edges of the carbon. It was a little sharp. But anyway, I got the feet on it now. It's got the red feet on the bottom. I like that. That's what I like. I like the drone to have some rubber feet on it and the battery up on top behind the camera. And I think that for me, that's more of a, makes more sense for me because I am not a racer. I'm kind of a freestyle wannabe. And I think that this style of quad is better. And nobody would ever recognize this as a Tyro 99 except for these Eachine motors. But I guess they sell them anyway. Now the motors on this quad weren't bad. The motors on the Tyro 79 were garbage. And the motors that I looked at that are coming on, that came in this new Tyro 129 that I'm going to build over the weekend, they look terrific too. So these things are very smooth and quiet, and I'm going to use, instead of using these, the Tyro 99, of course, used these two-bladed, I don't know whose props. They got gave you a whole bag full of them. I got a lifetime supply of these things. I'll probably never use them. But I think that since this is about the same size motors and the same power and the same weight as the Emax Hawk 5 that I have, they use these Avon, the Avon Flow props, and I had bought some of these as spares. And I really like these props. They're very quiet, and they're very forgiving, flexible. You can cut grass with them and it won't break them. And I think that I'm going to use them. I'm going to use them on here. let's see. This thing is made to be props out. So it's turning this way. So that's the leading edge, and that would be correct. So let's put some props on it and see how it looks. Oh my God, I hate these reverse thread things. Okay, so we got that. And this one is here. What are we doing in the chat? Hey, Mitch, I'm showing 5 people here. Now I see 8. Oh, I see 8. Yeah, 8. Wow. What's going on? Everybody's showing up. Mike Roche. What happens if oh, who's here? Ed, how you doing? Hey, let me get you in here. There you are. How are you, man? Okay, hang on a second. I can't hear you, but it may be that
it was me. I had my mic muted.
Oh, okay. Because what I got here is I'm not using headphones today. I just got a little Bluetooth speaker plugged in, and I'm using a lav mic, a wireless mic, so I can move all over the place here when I'm building and not be tied down. And it's great as long as there's no echo when you talk. I don't think there is.
I don't hear any, and I'm using a Bluetooth speaker too, and I'm not hearing echo either.
Oh, okay. Okay. We got Ryan came in here. Hello, Ryan.
What's going on, Mitch? How you doing?
All right, man. How you doing?
All right. I saw in the chat that there was like 5 people there.
Yeah, there's about seven of us now, I think.
Yeah.
What's
going on, Ed?
Hey, Dan.
What? Let me see it. Let me see it. Oh, drone pool.
Oh yeah.
Is Dan in the house? Oh yeah, there he is. Hey Dan, how you doing, buddy? This is what you usually do, man. You're usually building drones like this. At any rate, I'm just sitting here. Keep talking, guys. I'm just sitting here, just loosely putting the props on this thing, just to see what this, in all its redness, is going to look like. Because it's very important that things be color coordinated, just so, you know what I mean? That they fly better that way, don't they?
I just think you need to come up with a name for that bird other than just Tyro 99. Tyro 99's fine on the radio, but I mean in your FPV footage.
Yeah, you're probably right. I need to call it something different, because it isn't a Tyro 99. It's just a generic drone now, built with a bunch of Eachine components. But man, you know something? That's not here. Let me make it bigger here. So here, that's not a bad looking drone, is it?
No, that looks nice.
No.
Yeah, it does. I mean, really, seriously, it's got and it came with the camera mount. It came with the bumpers for the end of this. It came with the feet and all that stuff, and the frame. I'm going to put a link to it in the description of this video when I'm done. But I'll show you.
EBR wants to know what the frame is.
I'm going to show you here. I'm going to show you right now. So if you look at the screen there, that's the Amazon page for it. It's called a FPV drone 255 millimeter FPV racing drone frame. That's all it said. It's by FPV Drone. I guess that's the name of the manufacturer. $33 comes with all that stuff, and
does it come with plenty of hardware? All the hardware you need?
Oh yeah, it came with a big bag. It came with everything you needed. In fact, I didn't use some of it. I didn't use the. It even came with battery battery strap that says FPV, says FPV drone right on the battery strap. See it? Not that I don't have 4,000
Nice.
battery straps already, but it came with a fairly decent blow up of of how it goes together.
Now that's special because a lot of them don't come with that.
And right now it's got like it's got 32.99 less 5% when you check the box. But damn, if that doesn't look, if that doesn't look pretty neat, I'm impressed. I mean, I'm pleased considering that 2
Wow,
hours
look at that. That's cool, Mitch.
2 hours ago, man, it looked like
Wow, that's nice looking.
yeah, 2 hours ago it looked like this. See the Tyro 99? That's what it looked like 2 hours ago. Yeah, man.
Wow.
And now it looks like this. And there's room for a buzzer.
Wow, that's awesome.
There's room for a buzzer in there if I want to put it in there. There's room for a GPS. There's room for all kinds of crap. Pretty
What
neat.
flight stack
It's
are you using,
also
Mitch?
got room.
Pardon me?
It's also got room for one of those FPV cams that have the onboard DVR too.
Yeah, you could squeeze that in this frame. This is a very roomy frame and much better. I mean, I still have to tie a few things down on it, but for all intents and purposes, it's done.
What flights?
Flight controller? I didn't hear you.
What flight stack are you using in that quad? What flight stack are you using in there?
It's the one that came with the Tyro 99. It's an Eachine F4 with a 4-in-1 ESC, and it works fine. It's beta flight. Yeah, it's a generic stack. It's not. I mean, even with the new frame, I didn't add anything to the squad. I got $130 invested in this. That's it.
So now it's the Tyro 130.
Yeah, Tyro
Nice.
130. Yeah.
Wow, and that's a True X also.
Yeah. It looks like an Armaton.
That's a True X frame too.
Yeah, it looks like an Armaton Marmot from the top, doesn't it? The shape of it. It's not. It came out better than I thought it would. I mean, I think it's.
What happened here?
I don't know about these motors. How great these motors. I mean, they work.
Yeah.
It flies good. It's not like the highest performance thing on the planet, but it does work good. It has this TPU mount on the back is nice for the little pigtail.
Yeah, I like that. I like that mount for the antenna.
Yeah, and it's TPU, so you bang it in, and you might break an antenna, but it's not rigid, and it's not mounted to the carbon either, which is better. You don't want to mount these things into carbon because that's what I read about the electrical conductivity of the carbon or something. But and there from the bottom, you can see it's got individual arms. They actually sell a set of 4 arms for this for about $12 too. So you can buy replacement arms for it. They're 4mm. I think they're 4. Are they 4mm? Hold on a second. 4mm arms. Top plate is 2. Top and bottom plate are 2mm, and the arms are 4mm. Yes, sir. And this is what I got in here now is that Run Cam 5, because I couldn't find I wanted a GoPro, but I couldn't find a GoPro. So what did I do? Lose you, Ryan? What happened?
Got put out backstage.
There you are. I don't know how you got out of there, but
Mine's always bouncing in and out.
Anyway, I got this RunCam 5, and it does okay. But then if you go onto Amazon now, they're selling I picked one up too. They're selling the GoPro Session 5 refurbed one for $149, which is a good price
Wow.
for a Go Session 5. At any rate, I got one of them and from Amazon and got it here, and it's perfect. Perfect. The battery works great, holds a charge, everything works on it. It's terrific. So it's unfortunate because I didn't want to buy the RunCam 5. I wanted one of these, but I couldn't find one. They were way expensive. And one of the guys, I forget who it was, one of the YouTube channels, he found it, put a link in his thing, and now if you just go on to Amazon and search for Hero 5, you'll come up with it. So I don't know if you've ever wanted to buy one, but now might be a good time. Anyway, what do we got going on here right now? We got 5 guys in, and I'm about to wrap it up. I think that is probably. Let me turn this down. I'm getting a little feedback in my little speaker. I think that 2 hours and some is probably enough. And here I am. So who we got here? Got Mike Roach here. Mike, put the new DJI FPV stuff. Yeah, it's under $1,000. Yeah. Hey, Mike. Have you ever heard me beg for anything on this channel? Have you ever heard anybody ever heard me say, help support the channel, send me money, PayPal? I've never said that before, have I? I've never asked for a damn thing. But Mike, if you want to send me one of those new FPV systems from DJI, I would probably keep it. Okay. I would swallow my pride and probably keep it and call it. And I would call it the Mike Roche FPV system.
Yeah. Yeah, Jody, but you gotta have the goggles to pick it up.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you what. I said this last night on my stream, and and after all the hoorah that I've seen about this thing today and everything else, and there's a lot of guys have come on and talked about it. I think it's a nice system. I don't think it's going to take over the FPV community, not by a long shot, because it's expensive and it's too proprietary, which is the one gripe most of us have about DJI stuff. It's like Apple. It won't work with anything else. You know, it has to be used in its infrastructure, and trying to, to get that to interface with Betaflight, although they say it will. I've read that it's not quite ready for prime time yet.
Yeah, I think it's just one version of beta that it worked with. And also, Fat Shark has announced an HDO thing they got coming out too.
And that's what I wanted to see. What if DJI, here's the thing. If DJI had included analog receiver in their goggles, okay? If they had put analog receiver or digital switchable in the same goggles, so you could use those new DJI goggles with all your old drones and just tune to channel A1 or B3 or whatever you use, that would have made it more attractive to me, because even though I haven't found the answer or seen the answer to it anywhere, in one of their ads, a guy with glasses on pulled the goggles on top of his glasses. And that's all I care about. That's why I use the Vipers, because I can't wear these friggin' goggles that won't let me wear my glasses underneath it. I not only do I need certain correction and astigmatism, but I have prism correction too. And if I don't have that prism correction, I see two images, one on top of the other. And on the DJI goggles, I have those. I can wear glasses underneath those, so that's okay. In any of the box goggles, I wear my glasses, and it's perfect. But for Fat Sharks and all of those things, I have to have these diopters made with the prism correction in them. And unfortunately, what would happen is you generally have to have them made over in Germany by mail order, and then they come and they're wrong, and they got to send them back, and and they're expensive, and it'd be a nightmare. It'd probably be a nightmare by the time I got it done. So I saw the guy with the glasses and the DJI goggles in their ad, and I said, "Oh wow!" But then it dawned on me, because I look at that stuff and I'm crazy. I say I don't want to spend $1,000 on that stuff. I certainly don't want their transmitter. I have I have all these drones all work with the Tyrannus and that infrastructure. I don't want to change that. That works great. I've got the long range R9 module for it, and I don't want to have to go and rely on DJI. I like all the stuff I can do with my Tyrannus. I can run Lewis scripts. I can do anything I want. I can make it talk to me. I can control anything, including all my Spectrum airplanes, by just plugging a Spectrum module in the back. So it's a very versatile radio. So if I went with the DJI stuff, I would want to go with the system that didn't have the transmitter, which takes out about half of the features that they're advertising, is the radio link part of it too. Well, I don't want that. All I want is a digital pair of goggles and a digital transmitter on the drone, which is what everybody and their brother is going to be coming out with in the next 6 months. You watch. And you'll be able to buy, and it'll use a normal camera. You won't have to have a special camera. You just plug your Radex, your Cadex Ratel into it, or any other camera, and it'll just be a digital link, probably 720p. Listen, these little cameras that we have on these drones have 700 lines, 1200 lines. They're already high def capable. All I wanted from DJI was a little box on the drone that was a digital transmitter and a pair of goggles to receive it that also could switch to analog, and they failed me on both of those counts. So and I still almost ordered one, figuring I could return it if it didn't work, but I didn't. I'm so proud of myself. I fought the urge.
Showed some restraint, did you?
What's that?
Showed some restraint.
I did. Honest to God, I'm so proud of myself, and so I said, well, all right, today I'll build the Mitch 5000. Somebody suggested.
That was Dan. Road cool.
And the Mitch 5000. Yeah. You know what? That's a sharp looking little. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I'll tell you what, believe it or not, if even if for $12 a piece, you can get those Emax Eco motors. Those things are terrific for $12. There's not a thing wrong with them, and I could always replace these. But these motors are smooth. They're smooth, and the thing flew fine. And I expect that this one will fly just as good, or maybe even better, because it's not a true cross. It's more of an X shape. But anyway, that's I use the same camera, the same FPV, big old clunking cheapy FPV camera in the front, and see that thing? Or is it? It's just a big full-size camera, no name, black box thing, but it has a halfway decent image. So we'll see. Am I missing? Is that not in there straight? I still have to fine tune some of this stuff, tie it all up. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for helping out a little bit. And now, of course, now that I'm ready to go, we get more people coming in.
That's the way it always works, man.
I mean, I sat here by myself for about a half an hour. Time for a hover test in the house, Drone Shot says.
Right.
Fat Shark got a new system coming out, digital. Yeah, what do they call that? I heard the name of it. I'm trying to think what the name of it was.
The whole problem with the analog cameras, when you switch them to digital and then transmit, you you're going to add latency in the translation. Now, whether it's enough to matter,
you're probably right, but and I agree. So if they come out with a system that comes with a camera, that'd be okay too. What do you think, Ed? How much you think would be a reasonable to get an image like a 720p image that doesn't break up, that just does what digital images do? When it gets weak, the resolution goes down a little, but it's always perfectly flyable. What do you think the average FPV guy would be willing to spend to outfit each of his quads with a digital system like that? What's the best analog system now? The TBS?
I myself have certainly never flown the best analog system out there either. I'm
using these fairly inexpensive ones. Well, on my Marmot, I went ahead and used the Holy Bro, the Atlatl that went with the Kakudi F7 flight kit. I went big bucks. I went top of the line on that. I don't know if it's any better than the $12 Eachine VTX that's on this other drone. When you look at it in the goggles, it still looks the same, you know?
Oh, I was referring to the camera more than the VTX itself. To me, the VTX, the main thing is the power it puts out.
What camera do you like to use?
What camera? I don't have a favorite camera. I've just flown what came with the birds.
You know which one I've got two of them. Is that Cadex Ratel. It's a $35 camera, and it's billed as a starlight camera. It's got terrific low light capability. It comes with a 1.6 millimeter lens, and you get a really nice wide view.
Now, I've seen some great footage from Cadex, and I was thinking about the Cadex Turtle V2, the one that has the onboard DVR actually for a while.
I've got two of them now. I've got one of them that came in that little beta FPV 85X HD or whatever. And then I also put one in that Marmot, in the the Marmot. But what happens with that is it splits the signal, and it does degrade the actual FPV feed a little bit.
Really?
You're not going to see as good a picture through the goggles as you would with their new Tarsier, which has two actual cameras built into it, one specifically for the FPV.
Okay. That's
why I like but it does record beautiful HD. So if you, I'm going to show you some video here. This here, let me get it over here and get to that. This is I got more shit here. Let me get some of it out of the way. This is the Cadex. The HD feed from my Armaton Marmot. That's the Cadex Ratel, not the Ratel. The Cadex Turtle V2. Okay. So this is the HD part. This is the 1080/60 that's recorded on the SD card on the drone, and that's sharp as can be. I mean, I don't know how good it looks on a YouTube stream, but man, I'm watching it on a HD monitor here, and it is sharp as a tack. Okay, now here is the FPV feed from that same camera. And it's not as good. Yeah, this is the Marmot. Yeah. It's not as good as the FPV feed of a non-split camera. Okay. For example, this here is my Tyro 79, which I put the new motors and the Cadex Ratel camera on. This is the FPV feed from this, and you see how much
I can see
much better that is than than that the split feed. But that's a sacrifice you make. That I've seen is pretty common among most of the reviewers or guys that use it. About the fact that you do, so when you do have a camera that splits the feed, you do sacrifice some quality. And this is my favorite camera. This Ratel is without a doubt my favorite camera. And I just put one on another. I put one on. What drone did I put? Oh, I put it on my little. I'll go get it. I put it on my little Acrobrat. Because that run cam camera that I had on the Acrobrat, these wireless mics are cool. You can wander all over the house and continue talking. All right. I put this little run cam Micro Swift 3. This I'll show you. Let me get back to me here. This Micro Swift 3, which is a fairly, nice camera. It's in a little holder there because to make it full size, but it's got it hooks to a UART. It's got all the you can use the onboard camera control with it. And I had originally bought this to go into my Tyro 99 before I really knew anything. And this thing came with a 2.3. It came with a 2.3 millimeter lens, and it's just the field of view was way too narrow. I mean, I felt very uncomfortable. I couldn't see what was going on in like peripherals. But the Ratel has a 1.6 millimeter lens. And EBR says the Ratel is 16 by 9, but you were just looking at a feed from the Ratel into the goggles, which are 16 by 9. And let me hold on a second. Where was that? I'll find that again. Here it is. This is not 16 by 9. This is a 4 by 3. This is a 4 by 3 feed, I think. At any rate, I'm comfortable with it. Whether I don't remember whether it actually fills up the goggles with 16 by 9 or 3, but I've been working on so many different drones lately, like a lunatic, that
it's easy to get them mixed up for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember which one did what. What I really should do is just pick a drone, concentrate, and just fly it till it falls apart, because then I might get used to it, But I don't know. I'm new at this, and I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot, and I think that's how you learn, by doing and watching. And I'm still really a relative. I've been doing it for like 4 months now. The FPV stuff, that's about it. And I attack it like I've always attacked everything in my life. Go way overboard, too much. I don't know if that's mental illness or what, but.
Well, I'll tell you this: you're doing great for 4 months in, Mitch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do have the benefit of 50 plus years in the hobby of RC. So a lot of this is not new to me. But this FPV stuff is much more challenging than I thought it would be. So I can only imagine what somebody who's never had sticks in their hand before and decides to get into FPV has no idea what. I still don't even know what I don't know. That's scary when there's so much you don't even know what you don't know, and then you finally learn what you don't know and then spend the rest of your life trying to learn that shit. But that's how it is. Anyway, this is the other little drone that I put the Ratel in, because I had put that Swift in here and I went and flew it, and the field of view was so narrow that I had a hard time with it. And this Ratel has that nice 1.6 millimeter lens, wide field of view, very bright starlight camera. It's like a $35 camera, but it is, from the different ones that I've tried 4 or 5 different.
And Caddx makes that?
Yeah, it's the Ratel, Ratel. What I'm going to do, I'm actually, you know, because I do have an Amazon affiliate account, which I really don't use. And I think I'm going to just, over the next couple of days, put together a set of links for a lot of the stuff that I've been using and just throw it in the description of these videos. So if you guys, you know, want to buy it, and you know, I might make 30 cents or something, but it'll help you find this stuff that we're talking about. I'm not really at anywhere near qualified enough to be a reviewer of these things yet, you know, and I know that, but I can, reviewer or not, show you guys, well, this is what this footage, just like I did, this is what the footage from this camera looks like, and that's what the footage from that camera looks like, and there's the footage from the turtle FPV part, and there's the footage from the turtle. So I can do that just like any other reviewer can.
That would be great.
I'm not doing it to try to educate people right now. I'm trying to do it to educate myself. And the whole idea of calling this like beginner FPV is that I'm a beginner. So it's kind of like
the thing is, Mitch, here's the thing with all that, and this drives me crazy, is that just know that there's somebody else out there that is a lot more of a beginner than you are and will appreciate this information.
Oh, I appreciate that, and that's what that's why I'm doing this. Basically, I'm saying, you know, come along on this little journey of discovery with me. I'm letting you in on what I'm discovering, and if they, you know, use it or don't use it, that's up to them. But some of the stuff I think I might be right on is I may be dead wrong on, and you know, I'm not married to any of the opinions I have. If something looks good, I like it. I'll tell somebody, well, I like it. It may be, you know, a scourge in the industry, but if I like it, I'm going to say I like it. I don't know enough to know that I'm not supposed to like something.
That's funny.
So like my father always used to say, anything, I always tell people, consider the source. You know, anytime you hear anything from anybody or anything, just consider who's telling you. You know, reminds me of an old Buddy Hackett routine where he's talking about, he's in Las Vegas, you know, and he goes into the men's room and he's standing next to this guy in the next urinal over, and the guy is dressed like a homeless bum. His soles are falling off, his clothes are ragged, and he's standing there telling Buddy Hackett says, he's standing there telling me about his gambling system that he uses. He says, and I'm listening until it dawned on me, he says, that I'm standing there listening to this guy tell me how to gamble, you know, because but that's considered the source, you know. So I make no bones about what I don't know and how new I am at this and how I'm stumbling around. But if people are interested in watching that or keeping up with that, I love it. I love it because I'm learning a lot by talking to you guys, you know, guys that have been around. Watch Bardwell's video on it. Plus with the DJIs, you can pretend that you are an ant for Halloween. Oh, I haven't been following these guys in the chat, but they're, I don't know if they're trashing. Put the new, I'm sure you'll love it. It's under 1,000. We've been there. Mike Roche, Kelly has it on his FPV with the DJI. I like my DJI. Fat Chart got a new system. Yes, they do. Plus with the DJI guys, you can pretend. I think it looks like Ant-Man. Honest to God, it does look like I have to put a cape on and a big A on my chest, and I mean they're cool looking, but for a 72-year-old guy, they're not kind. You know, if you're a kid, that's one thing, but for a guy my age to stick on goggles and make me look like Ant-Man, I think.
Well, first of all, Mitch, when you're out there flying FPV, you're not trying to look like a fashion statement, for goodness sake.
You can't with those Vipers on, that's for damn sure. You look like you're wearing a refrigerator on your head.
It makes me think of a stormtrooper from Star Wars.
But they're good goggles, man. They're really good goggles,
I love mine.
and you know what? And you know what happened was I on my first I went ahead and bought one of these things too, which is the same screen they sell in a little thing with a tripod mount on it. Have you seen that? It's like
Yeah.
$100. And I bought this because my first one from them broke, and it wouldn't record anymore. You can push the button all you wanted. The button broke.
See, my button on the front of mine broke, and I had to get a new monitor too.
Well, what happened was I told them I contacted them and I said, well, you know, they were working on the claim under warranty, and I said I want to fly, so I just bought this and figured, well, I'll just use this in my goggles until they replace the other one, and then I'll just have a second screen. So what happened was they went ahead and sent me a brand new screen part under warranty, and and didn't ask for the old one back. So now I've got 3 of the friggin' screens. 2 of them the DVRs will work in 2 of them, and one of them there's no DVR, but I can just use it as a monitor. You know,
And great for a ride along too.
it really is. It really is. Or just like I'm today, when you're sitting at the workbench trying to get your OSD set up and all that other stuff, trying to do it with those goggles, or this is terrific. And I don't know if you can see it. I got this little tiny tripod. See it?
Oh, that's cool.
Little tiny tripod, and I took a battery and I Velcroed it to the little tiny tripod. See it there?
Yep.
Just Velcroed the little battery, and it's really nice. And then I just throw it in the bag in my bag, fold the antennas down, throw it in my bag, and take it to the field with me. You know, is there a place to plug a headphone in on this Viper? I know they have an AV out, but will a headphone work in there? They're small jacks. They're like 2.5 millimeter jacks, I think. I don't know.
I can't remember what it said those 2 jacks are for.
It's AV in and AV out. There's no headphone jack. Nothing that says headphones per se. And I want to have a little earbud so that I can hear the motors, especially on these longer, you know, when I'm doing the long range stuff. Not that long a range, but still far enough away or quiet enough where you won't hear it.
But where would the sound come from?
There's a microphone there's a little microphone on the video transmitter. On the CADX boards, on the CADX, there's a little microphone, and I know that Steele always flies. Steele always has an earbud in his ear that he can always hear his motors from his planes.
Oh, that's cool.
And I noticed that when I fly the simulator and I can hear the actual motors go, you know, it gives you a tremendous clue, and much finer control over your motor speeds than if you're trying to just guess where the throttle is by how it reacts in the goggles. I think a lot of guys don't feel the importance of hearing the motors, but boy, after you think about it, next time you fly one of these simulators and you can actually hear your motors, think about how helpful that is to be able to finesse that by the sounds of the motors.
Well, and actually, now that you say that, Mitch, when after a flight, because I get sound from the little Firefly I have on my bird, that I'm like, oh, I should have chopped the throttle then, or I should have boosted my throttle then. But I have my throttle position in my OSD. However, when I'm flying, I don't pay attention to that. I don't have.
I watched one of your videos today, and I noticed that you have the throttle position. But who has time to watch your throttle position in your OSD?
But to me, where that is helpful is after the flight when you review your footage, and I think of it as a learning tool.
Oh, I understand. I get you. But I'll tell you what. think about that, having that video. In fact, I even bought one of the Mr. Steel earbuds. It was $10, you know. It has a braided cable. It's a foot long. It has a plug. You know, they plug them into Fat Sharks and they sticks it in his ear. And then there's a little microphone on the VTXs, and it picks up the sound of the motors, and you hear your motors real time. I think that would be tremendously helpful.
No, I'm not disputing that at all. That sounds very cool.
Yeah. So I said, well, I got me this. I went ahead and got the little earphone, and I said, oh, cool, let me try it out. And I went and looked, and there's no place to plug it in, these stupid goggles. It's got, the goggles have speakers in them, but all you get out of those speakers is a bunch of noise, you know, so you got to turn the volume all the way down. So I don't know how good the audio is. Anyway, hey guys, let's I'm gonna call it a night here. I accomplished what I set out to. Built a drone. Maybe Sunday. I got this Tyro 129 kit. Okay, I think I told you about that. The Tyro 129. It's a 7-inch. Build as a long-range quad. It's an Eachine. Costs $129 from Banggood, and it comes with everything, including the GoPro mount, the GPS module, Beta Flight 4 something, brand new flight controllers, a Cadex camera, all name brand stuff, and a frame like this, a frame not like the old Tyro frames, but a frame with that looks more like this frame. So I figure for $129, I give it a shot, and I'm gonna do one of these little builds with it. So I'll put it out there, and if I haven't bored the pants off everybody today with this build, maybe you guys will come back. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I've been at this for 3 hours now. That's enough for one day, and I will.
Wow. Yeah.
One of you guys, who Ed, was it you that did that 5-hour live stream?
Yes.
You're out of your mind.
I don't know, man. It's just like you said. I keep getting ready to leave, and then these other people show up, so it just keeps going on and on and on.
And it looked like a continuation of my deal, because I saw all the same guys were there. You had
yeah, I mean,
you had Mars there. You had Jim. I said, Jesus, maybe I quit too soon, but I did get to watch Ken Hearn with the great Build a Drone Reviewer fiasco. So that's another story. All right, guys.
All right, good day, Mitch. Thanks
okay,
for,
take care. I'm going to say goodbye to you two guys. 1, 2, and now I'm going to say goodbye to everybody else. I'm going to crank up my music a little bit. I always do. And I've come to let my monkey say goodbye. So we will do that. There he is. And say goodbye, Spank. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.